Most watched news starts now.
Friday morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News where it's 5 o'clock. I'm Michael Hayslip. We actually don't have to worry about record cold temps on this Friday morning, but we do have a little rain that's about to work its way in by the time we get to about 6, 7 o'clock. Right now we sit at 52 in both Joplin and Neosho. We picked on Chanute yesterday because of that record low that was set at the airport. Well, can't complain about a 48 right now. And 45 in Miami. Now here's what we've got cooking on the Skywatch storm tracker. It's all eyes up to the northwest. As we zoom in, we're starting to see some heavy rain make its way through, put on the lightning tracker. And this thing is throwing down a little bit on the far northwestern end of it. Now the rain is not going to be as intense as what we're seeing right now once it gets into our highlighted counties. It'll begin to break up just a little bit, but once again, about 6 o'clock, that's what we'll be eyeballing. As far as our weather trend goes for today, still going to be nice warm temperatures up into the low 70s, even with that thunderstorm activity headed our way for the morning hours. So here's what we got. This is what I'm talking about, it breaking up. That's definitely not as intense as what it is right now. And it's really just going to be through portions of southeast Kansas and then into northeast Oklahoma there a little bit for the afternoon, but certainly not widespread rain by any means. Friday night, we get a break, but we know we've got thunderstorms coming on Saturday and Sunday. These are going to move west to east early Saturday morning, roll through, and actually take us into Sunday as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a wet weekend right there. Look at that for Saturday morning. And then we got one more day behind it coming on Sunday. Still able to make it up, though, into the low to mid 70s on Saturday and Sunday. Now, Tanya, thunderstorm activity is what's going to dominate next week. Warm temperatures and chances for thunderstorms each and every day throughout the course of the week.
A lot of rain and chances in the forecast.
We'll pick up some rain now.
Yeah, well, get ready for it. Have that umbrella handy and those galoshes. All right, thanks, Michael.
Not the yellow ones.
Not the yellow ones.
No, the orange ones.
Oh, there you
Night
go.
Vale reference.
All right, thanks, Michael. While COVID-19 vaccines have never been more available in Missouri, reports show vaccination rates can vary depending on location. The CDC says 41% of people in Joplin have received COVID-19 shots, while just 20% of residents in Jasper and Newton County have been vaccinated. Jasper and Newton County health officials say vaccine availability and 2 large hospitals in Joplin are the main reasons for the difference in vaccination rates. County health officials say beyond those 2 factors, zip codes could play a big part in the reported number of vaccinated people.
People live in Joplin zip codes don't actually live in the city of Joplin, but oftentimes they get reported as Joplin cases and or Joplin immunizations. And so it's really difficult to kind of separate that out.
Both the city and county health departments say they'll continue to hold clinics in hopes of increasing the vaccine percentages. Well, breakthrough case rates refer to people who've tested positive for COVID-19 after being fully vaccinated. In Newton County, there have been 2 instances reported to the health department. Both of these were reported in a nursing home in the county as the facility conducted regular testing.
Those 2 were in a nursing home environment, and the facility was doing regular testing on a weekly basis, and the 2 would not have known they had it. They had no symptoms at all, and so they were isolated from the others early on.
The health department says this instance is a good example of the COVID-19 vaccine's success. Since the CDC approved Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for kids as young as 12, we wanted to hear from a local health official about the decision. Dr. Tim Stebbins with the Crawford County Health Department says COVID is a risk that even young people should try to avoid.
Well, they don't get very sick. And you know what? That's true. Most of them don't. We still have some that do. And we still have some kids that have significant long-term effects from COVID-19. And so we want to prevent that.
Clinical trials showed the vaccine to be 100% effective among teens with similar side effects to what has been shown in adults. Newton County, Missouri authorities have filed formal charges against a man accused of shooting at deputies. The suspect, Benjamin Ivy from Granby, Missouri, remains in the hospital after authorities say he shot at deputies who returned fire. Ivy is charged in Newton County with unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful use of a weapon, and resisting arrest. He's also charged in McDonald County with first-degree felonious assault, 3 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. At last report, Ivy was listed in stable condition at the hospital. A black man convicted of murder has been in prison for 43 years, but now Missouri prosecutors are admitting that Kevin Strickland is innocent and should be freed. Andres Gutierrez reports.
This man must be freed immediately.
The Jackson County prosecutor is working to correct a wrong more than 40 years in the making. In April 1978, 4 men shot and killed 3 people inside a house on South Benton Boulevard near 70th Street. They also wounded a young woman named Cynthia Douglas. The day after the shooting, Douglas gave detectives the name of Kevin Strickland as one of the suspects.
She didn't provide his name at that time or identify him or say he had anything involved. And it was only after a friend had heard the description that she had provided and suggested that description could be Kevin Strickland.
There was no physical evidence connecting Strickland to the crime, and he had an alibi for that evening. Strickland's first trial ended with a hung jury, but he was convicted by a second jury and sentenced to life in prison for capital murder. Over the years, Douglas recanted her testimony.
She was wrong. She wanted others to know. She tried her best to allow as many people as she could to know about this mistake.
Even sending an email to the Midwest Innocence Project in 2009, wanting to help Strickland. The group took on his case with some help.
The hurdles are enormous. The hurdles to finding old facts, the hurdles that are procedurally set up to keep people incarcerated.
The prosecutor's office is calling for Strickland's release after its conviction integrity unit reviewed the case and concluded there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that shows Strickland should be exonerated.
I am profoundly sorry. I am profoundly sorry for the harm that has come to you.
The letter from Baker's office suggested that the city's mayor and its police department supports releasing Strickland from prison. Firefighters rescued a man trapped in the back of a garbage truck in Oklahoma City early Thursday morning. It's unknown why the man was there. The truck driver didn't know the man was there until he spotted him on one of the truck's cameras. The driver then called 911. It was considered a life-threatening incident. Emergency crews managed to pull him out. He was taken to a hospital in an ambulance. There's no word yet on his condition. It's 5:07.
Temps not too bad, mid to high 40s right now, eventually pressing up into the 70s, but we are going to have some scattered rain as the Skywatch storm tracker. Keeping tabs on this one up to the northwest. It's got some lightning on the far side of it. Hasn't come close to our counties as of yet, and certainly not going to pack the punch that it is right now over portions of Salina. 7-day forecast has rain scattered for the early afternoon hours, then we break up. Saturday morning, we're going to reload, roll through with some thunderstorm activity, get a break Saturday evening and nighttime, and then we're going to do it again on Sunday morning.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a turning point for the pandemic.
Our new mask guidelines from the CDC making a lot of people smile from ear to ear. I'm Laura Podesta with why the president, though, still has a warning about the pandemic.
Plus, Fort Scott and Chanute fight for the SEK League title. We'll have highlights and a look at a new bill in Missouri aimed at protecting the identity of lottery winners. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
It was quarterfinal night for the Missouri Class II state softball tournament, and we had 2 local teams squaring off, looking for a spot in the Final Four. We'll start with College Heights on the field against Diamond, a pitcher's duel headed to the 6th inning. Jaylene Jackson, she will get our scoring started, whacks it out to center for a double. College Heights looking to put something together down 1. Maddie Bentland, though, dominant in the circle. Gets the K, strands the runner. Then Bentley does it again to end the game. 14 strikeouts for the junior as Bentley tops 200 Ks for the season. Diamond moves on to the state semifinals 1-0.
This win feels amazing. It's the first time in the history of our program that we're going to the Final Four, and I just can't be more proud of my girls and my team. They're always wanting to stay late. They want those extra reps, and I think it's paid off. You know, we're in the postseason, and I think their hard work is just incredible and shows the character they have.
On the college level, Missouri Southern facing Central Missouri in the MIAA Tournament Final Four. Jenny's up 2-0. Mackenzie McAtee smacks a double to deep left center. That brings home Ashlyn Cook. Central Mo up 3-0 at the end of the first. Let's jump to the fifth inning. Jenny's extending their lead. Cook, solo shot. Central Missouri up 5 now, and they pitch the shutout as the Jennies win it 5-0. They try to stay alive tonight against Rogers State. Fort Scott Tigers wrapped up the regular season at home against Chanute. Big-time implications in the race for the SEK League title as Chanute claims the outright SEK championship with a win. These two teams share the title with a Fort Scott win. In the third, Cam Kuster drops one into left. That brings home 2. And the Comets get 3 in the top of the third inning. But Fort Scott's got an answer in the bottom half. Bases are loaded for Luke Bradbury. Get out. Caden Young scores. Cody Wilson scores. Then after a throw gets away, Dryden Cousins scores. Tigers get 4 in the bottom of the third for their first lead, and they roll from there. Next inning, Dryden brings in 2 with a single to right. Fort Scott wins at 11-3. After an 0-7 start, Fort Scott wins 11 of the next 13 to claim a share of the SEK League title.
From the very beginning of the year was hold the rope. And the idea is, you know, if you're playing tug of war and you're getting pulled one way and you're struggling, you got to dig your heels in, you got to hold onto the rope, and you got to heave. And if one guy lets go of the rope, you lose. It's over. They deserve what they got tonight, and they'll, you know, I told them they get to put a number up on our board in the clubhouse for a conference championship, and that's special. And I'm just so happy that they'll be remembered that way.
Coach Regan and his Tigers, what a turnaround. On the Missouri side, Webb City up to number 2 in the final state rankings, hosting Kickapoo, and they hammer the Chiefs 11-1. Cardinals 24-5 headed into the district tournament. Crowder College Rough Riders kick off the Region 16 tournament in Joplin. Crowder comes in as the number 1 seed, entering the day with a 46-6 record. Rough Riders facing Metropolitan Community College. Metro threatens in the third. Runner on third, 2 outs. Dylan Carter, says get us out of here. 7 strikeouts for Carter, and the game still scoreless. Rough Riders up now. Peyton Holt gaps one to left. Here comes Josh Patrick to third. He's in safely. That's first hit of the day for the Rough Riders. Then Landry Wilkerson gives Crowder a spark. Get out of here. 3-run home run. He's going to Arkansas, by the way. Crowder gets the shutout win and advances. Final score, 6-0. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, peace talks are failing as the violence continues in the Gaza Strip, with Israeli officials now preparing thousands of troops for a possible invasion. And a check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Couple past 5:17, but it's a Friday. We'll roll weather on the 7s now. Yesterday, we had big high-pressure systems lasting from the Great Lakes down to Texas. Now, these have all pushed off toward the Mississippi. That opens up the door for Friday morning thunderstorm activity. Haven't seen a whole lot of action so far in our particular counties, but here's what we're looking at. Good system that's rolling right now, just getting through Salina. Extreme heavy rain just on the south side of the city there. A little lightning on the back side of it. I'm about to say not widespread lightning. Mother Nature goes not so fast, Hayslip. Watch this. So the lightning continuing to increase right there. This thing is going to be able to break up. We're not going to see a whole lot of the red and orange by any means, but it is going to continue to drop down to the southeast on us. 52 right now in Joplin, 44 in Parsons, 49 in Nevada. Nothing to complain about coming off of the record-setting cold we had yesterday on May the 13th. This is kind of going to follow the jet stream. Not all the way down, though, because, like I said, it is going to want to break up as it progresses toward our county. So it's not going to be an all-day affair by any means. And then, really, once you get on the other side of the Mississippi, look how quiet it is over here. That's because that high pressure that we had yesterday, they're the recipients of it now. And the Midwest, even the upper plains, going to look at some thunderstorm activity. Now, as we push from Friday into Saturday, you'll notice here it doesn't want to stay out to the far west of us. The lighter green, remember, that's just thunderstorm activity. We start talking about wind and hail when you get into the darker green and, of course, the yellow, but we just get skirted. And look at that, actually stalls out just on the other side of our counties as well. For our day planner, we're going to get up into the low to mid 70s here, increasing cloud cover, but it is going to be a little bit of a wet one because as it rolls through to begin with, comes the scattered variety around the noon hour. But then we keep on bubbling up as we work through the nighttime hours. It really kind of dominates the west to begin with on Friday night. A break Friday night into Saturday morning, but then early Saturday morning, we reload out to the west, roll through. We see southern portion of the 4 states, including northeast Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, with Saturday morning rain. Then Saturday night, get a break, back at it on Sunday, coming up from the north. And so that's why when we talk about the old outdoor planner here, today I'm going to keep in the good category, but then we're just going to kind of roll down because of the amount of rain that we're going to have. Saturday is going to be very contingent upon location right there. You work up to the north, and you're probably going to stay on the dry side, but then Sunday and Monday, it's going to be widespread with the amount of precipitation that we're going to pick up. As far as our temperatures go, we just keep on warming up. That is for sure. We're going to make it up into the 70s here by the time we get to the middle of next week, mid 70s by the middle of next week. But thunderstorm activity is going to be the big talker from Monday through Thursday as well. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll as Missouri lawmakers pass legislation that could keep the names of state lottery winners a secret. The measure passed the House Wednesday and would make it a misdemeanor crime for lottery officials to identify winners. Now, supporters say the intent is to keep winners from being harassed. Well, you also got the other side that would tell you that if winners aren't identified, how do you know something's not askew when it comes to who's winning the lottery? Our question to you, simply put, should lottery winners be able to keep their identity a secret? You can log on to the Facebook page or cast your vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with Healthwatch next.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, surprising new guidance from federal health officials. It means millions of Americans can now lose their mask in most situations. The move, perhaps the strongest sign yet that life is returning to pre-pandemic normal, is also an effort to boost vaccinations. Laura Podesta reports.
Marks a turning point. Fully vaccinated Americans no longer have to wear masks inside or outside at most places across the country.
We have all longed for this moment.
Dr. Rochelle Walensky said the revised advice follows a sharp decline in new infections. She said the key is for people to get their shots.
Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing.
According to the CDC, nearly half the country has received at least one dose of a coronavirus vaccine. More than a third are fully vaccinated.
I think it's a great milestone, a great day.
President Biden hailed the announcement but warned that the pandemic is not over.
We've gotten this far. Please protect yourself until you get to the finish line.
Masks are still required indoors and in crowded outdoor spaces in several states, including right here in New York, where Governor Andrew Cuomo said his staff would review the new CDC guidelines before lifting any restrictions.
People want to say, well, COVID is over, COVID is done. 22 people died yesterday because of COVID.
No one should ditch their masks completely just yet. The CDC says people should continue to cover their faces in tightly packed crowds like on planes, buses, and trains, or inside hospitals and nursing homes. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Despite the CDC's guidance, changing mask requirements is largely up to states, cities, and individual businesses. CBS News is told that children under 12 who are not yet eligible for vaccinations should still continue to wear masks, which could delay lifting mask requirements in schools. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And the heavy rain sitting up to the northwest is yet to impede upon us. Got the cloud cover also on the front edge of it. Everybody else going to be off to a beautiful, clear morning. This thing is not going to be able to pack the punch that it currently has. We're already seeing the front edge of it begin to lessen in intensity, so that's at least a little bit of a good sign. Day planner with increasing cloud cover for everyone. Temperature still in the low to mid 70s as far as what Future Track has in store for us. Heavy rain becomes more of the scattered variety here for the afternoon and evening hours. And then we reload with additional thunderstorm activity that moves in Saturday morning, breaks Saturday night. We go again Sunday morning. We'll be back right after this.
Starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Enjoy the final dry and warm day of the week because rain is moving in and, well, it's going to be here for a while. Here's Michael Hayslip with a first look at your forecast.
Beautiful shot outside of Television City right there. Clouds are creeping in. That's going to give us just one of those great mornings of all kinds of different colors. And temperatures certainly big change from what we had yesterday. A whole bunch of mid 40s to low 50s, so we'll take that. But we've got rain already beginning to rear its head out to the northwest. And this thing is coming down at a real good pace, especially south of Salina and near Hutch. Now, here's the positive part of it, is it's going to break up as it approaches us, and luckily we've been able to temper our lightning on the backside of that thing as well. We're starting to see some clouds move from Iola to Chanute, and gradually increasing cloud cover will be our theme for today. As we get closer to the noon hour, it becomes more scattered showers, takes us into Friday night, more so on the western portion of the 4 states than any place else. Now, Saturday morning, got thunderstorms that roll through the central and southern portion of the 4 states. And we get a little Saturday night break, and then we're going to be right back at it on Sunday up to the north. So by the time the weekend is over, everybody's going to have a little taste of it with temperatures rising into the mid 70s. And then next week, we are going to concentrate in earnest on thunderstorm activity.
All right. A lot to talk about in the coming week, that's for sure.
It'll be a busy one.
All right. Be ready. Thanks, Michael. Well, COVID-19 vaccines have never been more available in Missouri. Reports show vaccination rates can vary depending on location. The CDC says 41% of people in Joplin have received COVID-19 shots, while just 20% of residents in Jasper and Newton County have been vaccinated. Jasper and Newton County health officials say vaccine availability and 2 large hospitals in Joplin are the main reasons for the difference in vaccination rates. County health officials say beyond those 2 factors, zip codes could play a big part in the reported number of vaccinated people.
There are a lot of people who live in Joplin zip codes that don't actually live in the city of Joplin, but oftentimes they get reported as Joplin cases and or Joplin immunizations. And so it's really difficult to kind of separate that out.
Both the city and county health departments say they'll continue to hold clinics in hopes of increasing the vaccine percentages. Breakthrough case rates refer to people who've tested positive for COVID-19 after being fully vaccinated. In Newton County, there have been 2 instances reported to the health department. Both of these were reported in a nursing home in the county as the facility conducted regular testing.
Those 2 were in a nursing home environment, and the facility was doing regular testing on a weekly basis, and the 2 would not have known they had it. They had no symptoms at all, and so they were isolated from the others early on.
The liquid head. The health department says this instance is a good example of the COVID-19 vaccine's success. Well, since the CDC approved Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for kids as young as 12, we wanted to hear from a local health official about that decision. Dr. Tim Stebbins with the Crawford County Health Department says COVID is a risk that even young people should try to avoid.
Well, they don't get very sick. And you know what? That's true. Most of them don't. We still have some that do. And we still have some kids that have significant long-term effects from COVID-19. And so we want to prevent that.
Clinical trials showed the vaccine to be 100% effective among teens with similar side effects to what has been shown in adults. The Oklahoma State Department of Health has set a new goal for COVID-19 vaccinations, 3 million doses administered by Memorial Day. So far, the state has given out 2.7 million. An official with the Ottawa County Health Department says these milestones say a lot about Oklahomans.
It's a good feeling, and it's really a testament to Oklahomans and taking personal responsibility to get the vaccine. And we were able to roll it out in a great way with our tribal partners and all of our businesses and pandemic providers, as well as our county health departments. So Oklahoma's kind of been a model to show how you can partner together with other entities to get the vaccine out to people.
Oklahoma state officials say in total 39% of adults are fully vaccinated and more than 50% have received at least one shot. Newton County, Missouri authorities have filed formal charges against a man accused of shooting at deputies. The suspect, Benjamin Ivy from Granby, Missouri, remains in the hospital after authorities say he shot at deputies who returned fire. Ivy is charged in Newton County with unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful use of a weapon, and resisting arrest. He's also charged in McDonald County with first-degree felonious assault, 3 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. At last report, Ivy was listed in stable condition at the hospital. Well, employees of Keller Williams Realty in Joplin yesterday were out cleaning up Turkey Creek, Joplin Creek, and some parks as part of Red Day. Red Day stands for Renew, Energize, and Donate. It's a global day of service meant to help local communities.
You know, it makes me feel amazing to give back to Joplin, give back to the community. That helps us, you know, beautify our city. When we tour people who are from out of town, or even just when we're taking our kids to ball games or around here, and you see the amount of trash that hits these riverways, it's a little bit alarming.
The day of service ended with a party and concert in Landreth Park. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Off the leash photographs.
And best friend has never looked so good. I'm Nancy Chin with a dog walker who has gone viral with portraits of his pack.
Plus, an American and a Swiss climber have died on Mount Everest. We'll have the latest on the first fatalities on the world's highest peak this season. But first, it's 5:37.
We're kind of eyeballing the northwestern portion of the 4 states on this morning with some heavy rain coming down in central Kansas. Haven't seen a lot of it in our counties as of yet. And as you progress down to the south and then east into southwest Missouri, beautiful blue skies to start our Friday. This thing has put down just a little bit of lightning, a little bit of an uptick there on the front edge of it. It's really going to move down to the south and begin to dissipate. We're not going to certainly get the amount of rain that they're receiving just on the south side of Salina. Our temperature is going to make it up into the low to mid 70s, but we are going to keep those chances for scattered rain all throughout. So as far as our outdoor planner goes, still going to put today in the good category. Even with some scattered rain, you can squeeze things in this afternoon and evening. Now Saturday, depends on where you are, because we're going to get thunderstorm activity Saturday morning, especially down to the south. See that roll through right there. And then on Sunday, we're going to do it to the north. So it's going to be a little bit of a wet weekend. Like I said, a lot of it's going to depend on where you are, north or south. South on Saturday, north on Friday. And then we turn our attention to thunderstorm activity Monday through Thursday. Next week could be a little bit interesting. Be back with World Watch next.
Topping World Watch, clashes between Israel and Palestinian militants show no signs of letting up. International observers are increasingly fearful the conflict could turn into a ground war. Gaza's health ministry says more than 100 Palestinians have been killed, including 28 children. On the Israeli side, the death toll stands at 8 people, including 1 child. CBS News' Tina Kraus has the latest.
Israel continued to bombard the Gaza Strip with airstrikes and artillery shelling overnight as Hamas launched round after round of rocket barrages. Thursday saw the bloodiest surge in the death toll so far as officials in Gaza reported 49 Palestinians were killed by Israeli strikes. Israeli officials say those strikes are in response to the nearly 2,000 rockets Palestinian militants have fired at Israel.
We're asking everybody to stay at home, to be within 30 seconds of a safe zone and safe area.
Israel Defense Forces caused some confusion Thursday after tweeting that air and ground troops are currently attacking in the Gaza Strip. It later told CBS News there are currently no ground troops inside the Gaza Strip. Late yesterday, though, Israel's defense minister moved ground forces to the Gaza border and ordered the mobilization of another 9,000 reservists. On Thursday, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken once again pleaded for peace.
Palestinians have a right to live in security and to live in peace, just as Israelis do. And so we are working hard to encourage all sides to stand down.
Egyptian officials, who've often served as mediators between Israel and Hamas, traveled to the area yesterday and began talks with both sides. So far, though, there have been few signs of progress. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
Israel's military said 2 infantry units and an armored unit were at the Gaza border, and plans had been prepared for a potential ground incursion. An Hamas military spokesman told the Associated Press the group was not afraid of a ground invasion, insisting it would be a chance to increase our catch of dead or captive soldiers. 2 climbers, one American and the other Swiss, have died on Mount Everest. It's the season's first casualties on the world's highest mountain. 55-year-old American Pui Lee died of exhaustion while descending the slopes. He had reached the highest camp on the mountain, and as he set out to reach the summit, the climber was forced to return due to snow blindness. With the help of the support team, Liu was brought back to the camp where he died Wednesday evening. 41-year-old Swiss climber Abdul Warraq died on descent after successfully reaching the summit. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for something to talk about.
Thank you, Tanya. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Insta poll, Missouri lawmakers passing legislation that could keep the names of state lottery winners a secret. Measure passed the House Wednesday would make it a misdemeanor crime for lottery officials to identify winners. Now, supporters say the intent is to keep winners from being harassed or threatened. North American Association of State and Provincial Lotteries, yes, that's an actual thing evidently, says all but very few states require the names and cities of winners to be made public. Missouri Lottery says releasing identity of winners helps promote sales and ensures integrity of the games. Our question to you: should those lottery winners be kept a secret? Well, right now, 84% of you say yes, and you can make your voice heard by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door and update the Skywatch Storm Tracker right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The CDC now says fully vaccinated Americans can go without a mask in most situations, both indoors and outdoors. There are some exceptions, such as in healthcare settings and on public transport. More than a third of Americans are fully vaccinated. While COVID-19 vaccines have never been more available in Missouri, reports show vaccination rates can vary depending on location. The CDC says 41% of people in Joplin have received COVID-19 shots, while just 20% of residents in Jasper and Newton County have been vaccinated. Jasper and Newton County health officials say vaccine availability and 2 large hospitals in Joplin are the main reasons for the difference in vaccination rates. County health officials say beyond those 2 factors, zip codes could play a big part in the reported number of vaccinated people. Newton County, Missouri authorities filed formal charges against a man accused of shooting at deputies. The suspect, Benjamin Ivy from Granby, Missouri, remains in the hospital after authorities say he shot at deputies who returned fire. Ivy is charged in Newton County with unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful use of a weapon, and resisting arrest. He's also charged in McDonald County with first-degree felonious assault, 3 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. At last report, Ivy was listed in stable condition at the hospital. In the George Floyd case, the trial of 3 former Minneapolis officers charged with aiding and abetting murder and manslaughter will move from August to next March. The judge says he's doing that so the 3, along with Derek Chauvin, can face civil rights charges in federal court first. Chauvin was convicted last month of murdering Floyd. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
It's rain up to the northwest. It's moving pretty good clip right now. We're seeing it lighten up on the southern portion of it, but the heavy rain that was one time over Salina has now moved pretty much to the south. It's Hutch that's getting bombarded. Now look at our highlighted counties. We've got blue skies pretty much from the central to the east down to the south. So it's going to be a little bit, even though it's moving pretty fast. Lightning strikes have really calmed down with that as well. And we're not going to see any of the red patches that are just absolutely torrential downpours as far as what they're getting in Hutch. But we are going to see rain today, and it's going to be more of the scattered variety, increasing cloud cover first, and then we'll roll the scattered rains. Temperatures still going to be up into the 70s, and then we'll get to this in here in just a little bit as the thunderstorm activity arrives for Saturday morning. So here's what we've got for Friday as it just kind of bebops through on the west side. And it picks up there. It's going to linger until the evening hours. Now, you get out to the east and to the north, especially the northeast, you're going to be just fine. Now, here's what we got on Saturday. Let's this thing develop out to the west, early morning hours, and then it sweeps through more to the southern portion of the 4 states for Saturday morning through northeast Oklahoma and the southern part of southwest Missouri, and then becomes more of the scattered variety. Break on Saturday night, but then it's the north for Sunday morning. That's why by the time we get done with the weekend, everybody's going to have a little bit of rain in some form or fashion. Now, the thunderstorm activity begins in earnest on Monday. That's when we got a little bit of a busy week ahead of us because it's going to persist all the way into Thursday with those temperatures warming up into the 80s. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
A Boston dog walker has taken his service to the next level. He snaps pictures of his furry clients all around town, and they've gone viral. Nancy Chen introduces us to the pied dog walker.
Stephen Watson has been walking dogs for decades, but it's his off-leash photographs that have gained him a new following.
I think I may have more followers in Bangkok than I do in Boston.
For the past several years, Watson has been posing his pups and posting the pictures. One shot recently went viral when a passerby snapped him in action on Boston's Longfellow Bridge.
It got a lot of traction on Twitter, and pretty soon my Instagram was blowing up.
Watson's canine clients follow him around town for hours each day, stopping for pictures at landmark locations or wherever inspiration strikes.
I get the best results when they're a bit tired, but not totally wiped out.
There's something really nice about bringing people some joy.
The dogs help people forget their problems for a little bit.
Good boy.
2.5-year-old Magnus had to try out for the Pied Pack. The Labrador Retriever has since become a local celebrity.
We've had maybe, I want to say 4 or 5 encounters where people have come up and been like, oh, excuse me, is that Magnus? I follow him on my dog walker account, and I just wanted to say hi.
Magnus's owner, Krister Svensson, says Watson bonds with the dogs from day one.
He's not just their dog walker. He's really their best friend.
Harper, look alive.
I thought I'd ask a professional about my own 4-legged best friend, Harper.
Does she have what it takes to be in the pack, you think?
I think so, definitely.
Now, if only Harper would cooperate for the camera. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Now, Watson says he gets one good shot for every 30 he snaps, and he doesn't use treats. He says the secret is trust. It's hard to get the dog when they're not blurry in those shots, so kudos to him. Mine would be 1 in every 75.
You've got a couple dogs, you can do that.
Yeah, and it's so hard to do a picture with all of them sitting still. One of them's always blurry because they're moving their head or wagging their tail too much, something.
It's good exercise, though.
It is.
Getting out and chasing them. Oh, I guess you don't want to chase them. Try to put a leash on them, folks, before you leave the house.
There you go.
And I understand that sometimes that the operative word that I just used may have been try to put the leash on them before they leave the house. I had an adventuresome week with a dog and a cat that got out.
Really?
Yeah. Adventuresome to say the least. Shout out Wiley and Harry. Track you down. All right, Tanya, on the KOAM Facebook page, and let's see if this updated yet. Because honestly, I was updating the Skywatch Storm Tracker while you were doing the dog story. Not yet. It'll be on there. It takes a couple minutes. That's our record cold from yesterday. But anyway. We've got the radar that's going to pop up there on my Facebook page. Same one that you can find on the Skywatch weather app. That is downloadable for free on all your mobile devices. And with the bout of severe weather coming up beginning on Monday, it's going to become a pretty valuable tool. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page are something to talk about this morning. Missouri legislator just passed a bill in the House that would make it a misdemeanor for lottery officials to identify a lottery winner. And so we're asking you, should lottery winners be able to keep their identity a secret? Right now, overwhelming 89% of you say yes. Now, you actually have the Missouri Lottery Commission that's kind of fighting against this proposed legislation, because they say that by identifying winners and their cities, it not only promotes sales, but it also ensures integrity of the lottery as well. So it'll be interesting to see what that one does in the Missouri State Senate. You can make your voice heard. We've got the KOAM News Now Facebook page as well as our Insta poll. You just go to koamnewsnow.com/vote. Now, speaking of the vaunted Skywatch storm tracker, we're going to come back and update that right after this. While our Friday morning rain to the northwest is spreading to the south and intruding a little bit into Greenwood County, it is at least beginning to lessen. Certainly not as widespread as the red and the orange of what we had earlier, but we are going to have scattered rain today. Central, eastern portion, I'm going to stay on the dry side, work up into the low to mid 70s. Be right back after this.
We hear from health officials about COVID vaccination rate discrepancies between area counties. Plus, fully vaccinated people testing positive for COVID-19, what experts have to say about so-called breakthrough cases, and prosecutors file charges against the Granby, Missouri man shot by police following a chase.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. Enjoy the final dry and warm day of the week because the rain is moving in and is going to stay for a while. Here's Michael Hayslip with a first look at your forecast.
Tanya, I think you and I do a pretty good job letting people behind the curtain and give you an idea of our TV lives. If you hear anything picked up on my microphone that sounds like a cricket, this is because I'm looking for him. He's back here. I don't know why he's not outside enjoying a beautiful Friday morning, quite frankly, but he took up home in the Skywatch Weather Center. So I just want everybody to know, if somebody's like, what's that chirping noise? It's probably not your television.
Somebody must have left the door open.
It's probably my newfound friend back here. Temperatures right now, like I said, I don't know why he doesn't get out and enjoy a beautiful morning, ranging from 51 in Joplin, 49 in Chanute, 46 in Miami. Now, we are eyeballing a little rain up to our northwest. Hasn't done a whole lot for our county. It's really Greenwood County, about the only thing getting some light rain there on the far western edge. It's been impressive as it rolled through Salina and Hutch with the amount of rain that it was able to drop. But as it rolls toward us, it breaks up into the more scattered variety. We're not going to get a whole lot of accumulation out of this. And central and eastern portion really going to remain dry. Now we get a break Friday night. Saturday morning, we roll thunderstorms down to the south through northeast Oklahoma and southern portion of southwest Missouri. All right, get a break Saturday night. Guess what on Sunday? We roll to the north. And so by the time we get to the next week, everybody's going to have a little shot of it. Still able to make it up into the low to mid 70s later on today. Warming up, but that's also what increases the thunderstorm activity from Monday through Thursday.
All right, we'll be keeping an eye on that for sure. I don't hear it. Is it in your head?
Don't discount that possibility.
I've not heard it once, and I figured I'd for sure hear it after you mentioned it.
Well, we're happy back here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about that animal preservation.
All right, moving on. While COVID-19 vaccines have never been more available in Missouri, reports show vaccination rates can vary depending on location. The CDC says 41% of people in Joplin have received COVID-19 shots, while just 20% of residents in Jasper and Newton County have been vaccinated. Jasper and Newton County health officials say vaccine availability and 2 large hospitals in Joplin are the main reasons for the difference in vaccination rates. County health officials say beyond those 2 factors, zip codes could play a big part in the reported number of vaccinated people.
There are a lot of people who live in Joplin zip codes that don't actually live in the city of Joplin, but oftentimes they get reported as Joplin cases and or Joplin immunizations. And so it's really difficult to kind of separate that out.
Both the city and county health departments say they'll continue to hold clinics in hopes of increasing the vaccine percentages. Breakthrough case rates refer to people who've tested positive for COVID-19 after being fully vaccinated. In Newton County, there have been 2 instances reported to the health department, and both of these were reported in a nursing home in the county as the facility conducted regular testing.
Those 2 were in a nursing home environment, and the facility was doing regular testing on a weekly basis, and the 2 would not have known they had it. They had no symptoms at all, and so they were isolated from the others early on.
The liquid hadn't actually gone.
The health department says this instance is a good example of the COVID-19 vaccine's success. The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is now approved for 12 to 15-year-olds, but it's nothing new to many teens ages 16 and up. KOAM's Mike Mahoney checked out a vaccination clinic in Crawford County aimed at teenagers to find out what inspired them to get their shots.
Rick is one of many teens who spent part of her Thursday at the Crawford County Health Department getting her second shot of the COVID-19 vaccine. She knows she can't have a normal summer without one.
I'm probably gonna go see family more than I have been able to, since I didn't want to risk getting them COVID or anything. Go places, see my friends, that kind of stuff.
The Pfizer coronavirus vaccine is now available to kids as young as 12, and the Crawford County Health Department is hoping younger county residents will follow the example set by the roughly 90 16 and 17-year-olds who signed up for Thursday's vaccination clinic. The health department also hopes clinics like this will educate those who wrongly believe the young and healthy don't need a COVID-19 vaccine.
Kids do have a robust immune system, but still, as social as they are, things do spread very rapidly, and so this protects them, it protects their social life, it gives them freedom.
Since the vaccine is key to summer fun, the Crawford County Health Department wanted to make getting a shot as fun as they could. That's why music, cotton candy, and even goodie bags were all a part of the clinic.
It's not bribery or anything, it's just a way of celebration, relieving some stress, and having some fun with the kids.
In Pittsburgh, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
The Crawford County Health Department says they're already planning a COVID-19 vaccination clinic for 12 to 15-year-olds, and it could happen as soon as next week. The Oklahoma State Department of Health has set a new goal for COVID-19 vaccinations, 3 million doses administered by Memorial Day. So far, the state has given out 2.7 million. An official with the Ottawa County Health Department says these milestones say a lot about Oklahomans.
It's a good feeling, and it's really a testament to Oklahomans and taking personal responsibility to get the vaccine. And we were able to roll it out in a great way with our tribal partners and all of our businesses and pandemic providers, as well as our county health departments. So Oklahoma's kind of been a model to show how you can partner together with other entities to get the vaccine out to people.
Oklahoma State officials say in total 39% of adults are fully vaccinated and more than 50% have gotten at least one shot. Newton County, Missouri authorities filed formal charges against a man accused of shooting at deputies. The suspect, Benjamin Ivy from Granby, Missouri, remains in the hospital after authorities say he shot at deputies who returned fire. Ivy is charged in Newton County with unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful use of a weapon, and resisting arrest. He's also charged in McDonald County with first-degree felonious assault, 3 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. Last report, Ivy was listed in stable condition at the hospital. 6:07.
Keeps on spreading just a little bit to the east and to the south, but that's pretty light rain, especially considering what they had through Salina and Hutch. And it'll continue its southward push through the western part of southeast Kansas. Central eastern parts of the 4 states going to remain not only clear, but also dry. We will have increasing cloud cover through the afternoon hours. Highs still in the low 70s. Get additional thunderstorm activity that begins on Saturday morning. Then we rest Saturday night. Then we do it again on Sunday morning. Tanya, we have a menagerie update. Not only is the cricket still here, but also too, I just received a text from my 2 pets that decided to run, not my pets, but pets that decided to run this week. So they're obviously watching the KOAM morning news and they love the dog story.
All right. I don't know what to say about that. There is no cricket. I'm sorry.
There is a cricket back here. It's not.
Tate hasn't heard it either.
It's just not up here.
It's silent in here.
It could be in my head. Could be.
All right. Thanks, Michael. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a major concern in the labor market.
To end federal unemployment benefits. I'm Michael George with the impact on the millions of Americans still out of work.
Plus, a Colorado teen with terminal illness holds an emotional fundraiser to help raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And for this week's staycation, we travel to Fredonia to learn the story about the story behind the giant American flag that flies high above the town. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Money Watch this morning, the number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits fell last week to the lowest level in more than a year. But the labor market continues to be a major concern. More states are opting out of the enhanced federal unemployment program, saying people are choosing benefit checks over paychecks. Michael George takes a closer look.
From Texas to Indiana to Wisconsin, restaurants are looking to hire.
What we found is there are not a lot of workers.
Senate Republicans blame the enhanced federal unemployment benefits, saying they're an incentive for workers to stay home.
We had job fairs in our cities. Nobody showed up.
Florida's Marco Rubio introduced legislation to repeal the federal program, which pays $300 a week on top of state benefits.
It's logic that if you're going to make close to what, or as much, in some cases more than what you do when you're at work, you'll go back to work when that expires.
More than a dozen states have already made the move. Governors saying they're opting out of the federal supplement, which was a lifeline during the height of the pandemic.
It's time that we end these programs that have incentivized people to stay out of the workforce.
The Biden administration says there are more complicated factors keeping workers home. Some are still concerned about COVID-19, and others struggle to find childcare. The nation has more than 8 million job openings. But Bankrate's Mark Hamrick says there's no hard evidence that workers are choosing to stay home. And he believes the extra benefits have served an important purpose.
I do think that these payments have made a big difference. And this is one of the things that has been used to, I'll say, mitigate the exacerbation of wealth and income inequality that has long been an issue in this country and has been worsened during this downturn.
Amazon is one of the companies looking to hire. The retailer has 75,000 openings to fill and is offering bonuses to attract workers. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Job gains fell far short of expectations in April, with the unemployment rate hovering at 6.1%. A beer spa opens in Belgium. Good Beer Spa is opening in Brussels on June 4th. According to its founders, the jacuzzi is filled with water and then topped off with a mixture of hops, yeast, malt, and beer. Spa goers then get to relax in the jacuzzi for 45 minutes, while also being able to drink an unlimited amount of draft beer from the tap conveniently located right next to the tub. Now, soaking in beer is said to help with stress relief as well as release toxins from the body. That's kind of cool. Well, this is certainly a cheesy way to celebrate an anniversary. Cheez-It is ringing in its 100-year anniversary, and to celebrate, fans can grab a sweet and salty Cheez-It-Tennial, I guess that's how you say it, cake by Top Chef Stephanie Izard. The cake is made up of an entire box of Cheez-It crackers, from the batter to the crumble in each layer. From May 17th until the 20th, you can head to the Goldbelly website to buy one. The company will release a limited supply each day, so you better act fast because it's first come, first serve. That's kind of cool. That's it from Money Watch. We'll be right back.
Just past 6:17, which puts us 7 minutes officially past sunrise over Joplin, as we take a live look outside of Television City, where we sit at 51 degrees, coming off of the record cold that we had yesterday. But we're going to concentrate now on rain activity out to our northwest. What we're seeing is a fair amount of lightning here, but it's staying to the west of us. The rain that we are seeing through portions of Greenwood County right there, very, very light, especially considering what they had earlier in Salina. This was the batch that was in Salina not but 45 minutes ago. It gives you an idea of just how fast this is moving, now pushing all the way south of Hutch, headed toward Wichita. So as long as that heavy rain continues to break up and takes that southerly path. We're just going to see scattered rain throughout western and southeast Kansas here for the early morning hours. Chanute was the one that set that record low yesterday, 13 degrees warmer right now than what they bottomed out at 36 on Thursday. Let's go 46 in Nevada, 46 in Miami, and 50 in Neosho. The Skywatch storm tracker shows the jet stream kind of forcing everything down to the south, but we do stay out of the severe thunderstorm risk map. Remember, the lighter green, simply thunderstorm activity. This is when you start talking about wind and hail as you push out to the central and western portions of Kansas. Highs in the 70s today, scattered rain going to linger into the afternoon. Thunderstorm activity really picks up in earnest Saturday morning in the south. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Michael. For more than 2 decades, a 2,400 square foot American flag has towered above the town of Fredonia, Kansas. Through the best and worst of times, it stands tall, a symbol of a small town's resilience. For our next 4-state staycation, KOAM photojournalist Liam Mandelbaum brings us the story behind the flag on the mound.
Fredonia pretty well shut down till we got through those tough times. And so it was pretty quiet. But this was someplace they could come and get out on their own. They weren't stuck right at home. So it helped a lot. Some people don't really notice it until the wind's really putting it, making it stand out. Once you notice it's here, you look for it every time you come in on the highways. I'd seen a flag over at Parsons, the VFW, for years when I go over to see my folks. And I always thought that'd be something neat for the South Mound. And it took us 2 years, but we got it done. And this was when they was pouring cement for the base of it. And this was when they put the cement and rebar in. And that was me working on it there, back when I had dark hair, before I got old. When we dedicated it, we had a flyover. That was June 14th, 2000. We had it up just before 9/11, and then when 9/11 hit, it was very special. After 9/11, we had a flood here, and we had the National Guard here, and one of the guys ran up here every day, and he sent me a letter and donations. And then when he was in the service, he had to go to Iraq. He took a donation from his Army buddies and sent it over with a thank you. I've always been very patriotic at heart. To me, this is very special in more ways than I can even say.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, a Colorado teenager suffering from a terminal illness decides to spend her final days on Earth paying it forward and helping others. Dennis Shanahan shares her inspiring story.
A long line of well-wishers came out to see Sammy Dacong on this beautiful evening in Sacramento's Land Park.
Thank you so much for this. I just want to say you're such a blessing, and I'm so grateful for you just sharing yourself with us.
Beautiful not just because of the weather, but because of who Sammy is and what she wants.
During these tough times, at least I could try to give some hope to at least a child out there that's struggling, just like how I struggled.
You're so strong. I'm so impressed.
This is a Make-A-Wish fundraiser. The nonprofit means a lot to Sammy. She was diagnosed with a rare bone cancer in 2012. Through Make-A-Wish, she got to go to Disney World with her family. That experience inspired her to become a Make-A-Wish ambassador, speaking at events and helping grant other kids' wishes through fundraising.
Getting a wish can impact another child's life, and I realized it impacted mine as well, and I was like, I need to give back.
She was in remission for a while, but late last year, cancer came back, attacking Sammy in a different, more aggressive form. Last week, her family learned it had spread to her brain, and there's not much doctors can do.
I just want you to know we're thinking about you and praying. Okay? Love you.
So Sammy decided she wanted to grant another wish, and this fundraiser came together quickly. Visitors had the opportunity to sign a poster, drop off donations, or donate online.
I love you.
But this was also a chance for friends and relatives to simply spend time with Sammy.
You have made me a better person. Just want you to know that, okay? Thank you for everything.
Stephen Dacong is Sammy's dad.
She just wants to give. She never thinks about herself. and she's always worried about everybody else. She's going through this, and she said, I'm trying to be strong. I don't want you guys to cry. And she's terminal, and she's worried about everybody else but herself.
You know, I barely turned 18, and I had to already go through a lot of tough situations that children shouldn't be dealing with. But I told myself there's others out there that need it too, and I want to spread that story that don't worry, you're not alone.
Dennis Shanahan, Fox 40 News.
We thank you, Sammy. Well, there's been a surge in doctor visits for alcohol-related gastrointestinal and liver diseases during the pandemic. New research from the Digestive Disease Week meeting compared GI consults in Rhode Island from 2020 to 2019 and found a nearly 60% increase for alcohol-related GI and liver diseases. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
I'm telling you, the good news about this is it just keeps progressing to the south. We're seeing a little bit of the eastern fallout with some light rain, including in between Burlington and Iola right there, not picking up any lightning. And then luckily all this heavy rain is moving right toward Wichita right now. So we are kind of lucking out in that aspect, keeping the rain or the lightning all the way out by Hutch. Now, we are going to get scattered showers throughout southeast Kansas here throughout the late morning hours, but as you progress down to the east and the south, everything remaining clear and dry really until the afternoon. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
We hear from health officials about COVID vaccination rate discrepancies between area counties. Plus, fully vaccinated people testing positive for COVID-19, what experts have to say about so-called breakthrough cases, and prosecutors file charges against the Granby, Missouri man shot by police following a chase.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Enjoy the lack of rain right now. A little bit of sunshine before the rain moves in. And then it stays. Here's Michael with a first look at your forecast.
Tanya, we've been concentrating so much on this one up to the northwest, and rightfully so because of the large amount of rain that it's putting down. Hasn't hit our counties with the heavy rain, but we are starting to see some light rain right there in between Iola and Burlington. Now moving in through portions of Greenwood County and filtering down to the south, but the heavy rain has stayed to the south. That's a look at the lightning. It hasn't really even come close to us, but I don't want to discount something else that's beginning to materialize out here to the west. And that's what we're seeing right along the Kansas-Oklahoma state line. It looks fairly unimpressive right now, but wait till we get to future track and I'll give you an idea about why we're looking at that. Gorgeous sunrise outside of Television City, coming off of record cold on Thursday. We're already pressing up into the mid-40s to low 50s, 51 in Joplin, 46 in Miami, 49 in Chanute, where we set that record low yesterday, and a pair of 50s in both Lamar and in Carthage. Now, our day planner is going to have increasing cloud cover and scattered rains. And here's why I want to focus in on that one that is out by the state line right there. See how the one in the northwest, see how it kind of breaks up and becomes, scattered showers. It is rain over us. But then look at the Kansas-Oklahoma state line. See how that thing wants to increase? What that's going to do is by the time we get to the afternoon, it rolls through. But once again, the farther east you are and the farther north you are, you're not going to get a whole lot of rain. That's going to change its tune over the weekend. On Saturday, we're going to reload thunderstorm activity, work it to the south. Then on Sunday morning, we're going to reload thunderstorm activity, move it to the north.
At least we have temperatures in the 70s and creeping on up there.
Temperature-wise, we can't complain. Absolutely not. We're talking maybe, next week, when the thunderstorms really roll through, we're going to be talking about, high 70s, low 80s.
Many kids, this will be their last week in school. Hopefully they'll get to wear shorts every day with a rain jacket.
We've got graduation ceremonies coming up this weekend, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And next weekend. This weekend and next weekend.
Yep.
And so we'll stay on top of that. I'm not a school administrator. I know we always had a plan B. If you're going to do something outside, you always had a plan B. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks.
I didn't go to graduation school. Wait, that sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it?
You didn't go to graduation school?
Graduation planning school.
Moving along, the city of Joplin is outpacing much of Missouri when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines. The CDC says 41% of people in Joplin have received at least one shot. That's compared to 20% of residents in other parts of Jasper and Newton County who have been vaccinated. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky reached out to area health departments to find out more about the discrepancy.
Everything that's inside Joplin city limits would go on Joplin's data. Anything outside of Joplin city limit, but in Newton County, goes on Newton County's numbers, and Jasper County outside of Joplin city would go on Jasper County numbers.
That's just one of the reasons officials give for nearly double the number of people in Joplin receiving at least one dose of the COVID vaccine than in Jasper and Newton counties.
Well, I think whenever you see in the state data, anytime you see where Joplin is separated out, it's oftentimes not really reflective of what's actually happening.
A lot of people in Jasper and Newton County live in zip codes belonging to Joplin, and these vaccine rates may be reported as Joplin's.
It's really difficult to kind of separate that out because the zip codes kind of include city and county individuals.
Still, officials say availability of the vaccine and Joplin being a hub for healthcare means more people who call Joplin home are getting vaccinated.
Only counted once, but whether they end up being counted as Joplin residents or county residents sometimes is not a real clear definition as to are they really only getting city residents or are they getting people within that zip code's residence? In fact, I'm one of them. I live out there and my immunization wasn't counted, and none of my families nor any of my neighbors have been counted as county residents. So it oftentimes it's hard for them to get a clear delineation when they separate out those numbers.
Both the city and county health departments say they'll continue to hold clinics in hopes of increasing the vaccine percentages in the county. Breakthrough case rates refer to people who've tested positive for COVID-19 after being fully vaccinated. In Newton County, there have been 2 instances reported to the health department. Both of these were reported in a nursing home in the county as the facility conducted regular testing.
Those 2 were in a nursing home environment, and the facility was doing regular testing on a weekly basis, and the 2 would not have known they had it. They had no symptoms at all, and so they were isolated from the others early on.
The liquid hadn't actually gone into
The health department says this instance is a good example of the COVID-19 vaccine's success. Newton County, Missouri authorities filed formal charges against a man accused of shooting at deputies. The suspect, Benjamin Ivy from Granby, Missouri, remains in the hospital after authorities say he shot at deputies who returned fire. Ivy is charged in Newton County with unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful use of a weapon, and resisting arrest. He's also charged in McDonald County with first-degree felonious assault, 3 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. At last report, Ivy was listed in stable condition at the hospital. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Negotiations at the White House.
President Biden is focused on a bipartisan-backed infrastructure bill. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House, where a group of Republican senators is working to negotiate a lower price tag for the president's plans.
Plus, for our Something to Talk About, we're asking, should lottery winners be able to keep their identity a secret? We let you weigh in, but first, it's 6:37.
For those of you in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma, I'd grab the umbrella on the way out the door because we are going to see this filter in from the northwest, where we've got very heavy rain ranging really from just south of Salina all the way now south of Wichita. This thing is moving fast. But at least it's keeping the heavy rain out of our area, are picking up a little light rain around Iola. But it will slowly move in and just be more of a nuisance on Friday than anything else. Thunderstorm activity is what we're paying attention to in time for Saturday morning in the south. Of course, you can always find the latest on the Skywatch weather app, and Nation Watch is next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, President Biden met with a group of Republican senators who are leading negotiations on a new infrastructure bill. The two sides remain far apart on a variety of issues, including how much to spend, how to pay for it, and even what can be considered infrastructure. But they're looking for common ground. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
Biden hosted a group of Republican senators looking for a compromise on a new infrastructure bill.
They're sincere about it, and so am I. And what we're going to try to do is figure out what we can agree constitutes infrastructure from each of our perspectives. Talk about how to proceed from there.
This group, led by West Virginia's Shelley Moore Capito, is leading the negotiations for Senate Republicans. They're looking for a bill about a third of the size of the president's proposal, and they want to focus on traditional infrastructure projects such as roads and bridges.
We're very encouraged. We feel very committed to the bipartisanship that we think that this infrastructure package can carry forward. And again, I'm grateful to the president and his staff for the give and take that we shared in the Oval Office.
President Biden says he wants to pass some kind of bill with Republican support, even if that means breaking up his $2 trillion proposal into two parts. One he'll pass with Republican support, the other he'll try to pass without them.
We didn't compromise on anything. What we did was I laid out what I thought we should be doing, how it should be paid for.
The president has asked us to come back and rework an offer so that he can then react to that and then re-offer to us.
Republicans argue the price tag for the president's proposal and his plan to pay for it with new taxes on corporations and the rich would hurt the country. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Democrats could pass the bill without Republican support using a Senate rule known as reconciliation, which allows for a bill to avoid the procedural filibuster and pass with a simple majority. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll, Missouri lawmakers passing legislation that could keep the names of state lottery winners a secret. The measure passed the House on Wednesday, making it a misdemeanor crime for lottery officials to identify winners. Still, of course, has to go to the Senate. Supporters of the bill say the intent is to keep winners from being harassed or threatened. Lottery Commission says by taking away that privilege of giving a winner's identity or city, not only hurts ticket sales, but also the integrity of the state lottery. Our question to you, should lottery winners be able to keep their identity a secret? Right now, an overwhelming 93% of you say yes. You can make your voice heard either by going to our Facebook page or taking part in the Insta poll. Just log on to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back and celebrate birthdays and anniversaries next.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Sergeant Bill Yarberry, who served in the United States Army from 1965 to 1966 in Korea. His hometown, Milo, Missouri. We are proud to salute Bill Yarberry, our four-state hero.
We've got a big birthday weekend coming up for one, Jayton Johnson, as he celebrates the big number 5. Bandit pride right there on the field. Happy birthday, Jayton in Fort Scott.
All right, Alex Stipp is 7 strong this year. Happy birthday, Alex, in Erie, Kansas.
We got the Heflin twins that are now up to number 9. Nice catch right there by Silas. Silas, I want you to have a great weekend, and you make sure Titus has a great weekend as well. Happy birthday to you, Titus. The Heflins are in Oswego.
All right, Brecken Cameron turning 11 years old this year. Brecken is in Frontenac.
Brooklyn McBride, she is turning 12. Brooklyn, a very happy birthday to you. I want you to know this comes with love from Uncle Paul and Aunt Ashley.
All right. And with love from the family, going out to Destiny Collins. Destiny is 14 years old this year in Nevada.
Also the big 1-4, we've got Lennox Van. Lennox, a very happy birthday to you. He's in Fort Scott, right down, as a matter of fact, just right down the road from Destiny.
All right. And Krista Moss, turning 18 years old this year. There she is, sporting the American flag, almost ready to graduate from Riverton High School. That's pretty awesome. Love, Mom and Dad.
Samantha Baglin, happy 34th birthday to you. Samantha, she's in the party in Fort Scott.
Yeah, might as well. And Party in the Bus with Patty Dunnick turning 37 years old in Columbus.
What up, Patty? Happy birthday. Les Green, he is a pastor at Western Way Cowboy Church in Altamont. Happy to know a number of people that attend Mr. Green services. Les, a very happy birthday to you, and I know that Sunday the birthday wishes are going to be flowing in.
All right, happy birthday, Les. Happy birthday going out to Tommy Keith, who's now the big 80 years old in Arma, Kansas, for Tommy.
In Jasper, we've got a special celebration for Bob Lee, as he is celebrating his 95th birthday. Mr. Lee, a very happy birthday to you.
All right. In Crestline, our neighbor Carol Stone is celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Carol.
Dauber Crockett, resplendent hat, absolutely love it. A happy birthday to Dauber in Lamar. You know you're having a good time when you're sporting that. That was great.
All right. Ron Kissel in Thayer, Kansas. Birthday wishes going out to you. Hope it's a great one.
And back to Oswego, because Tom and Diane Heflin, they're celebrating their 44th anniversary. We do a little turn back the clock for number 44. Congratulations, Tom and Diane.
All right. And celebrating their 61st anniversary, it's the Shermocks. Lewis and Darlene Shermock are celebrating 61 years up in Fort Scott.
Got one of our own celebrating a birthday as well. It is Cassie Hutchison. Cassie, our marketing consultant at KOAM in Fox 14. Miss Cassie, very happy birthday, ma'am.
All right, and the list goes on. We've got Mallory Mathis in Parsons wishing you a happy birthday. Corey Modoc is 33 years old in Columbus, with love from Grandma and Grandpa. Linda Fugat is 50 today. And Ron and Nancy Close are celebrating their 50th anniversary as well in Pittsburgh.
Norman and Marlene Parker, they are celebrating their 66th anniversary. Congratulations, Norman and Marlene. They're celebrating in Golden City. And we've got a 13-year anniversary for Corey Pitts and Julie Cox. Congratulations, Corey and Julie. And their party will commence over the weekend in Lamar. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to all, not only on this May 14th, but maybe this May 15th, or if you're like Jayton, come full circle, you're going to celebrate on the 16th. Now, here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right, you can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website and sign up, and once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Beautiful looking sunrise over Television City, but we're not going to get out without talking about rain on this Friday morning. Temperatures right now considerably better than what we had yesterday as we sit at 51 degrees outside the mothership and in Joplin. So let's talk about the precipitation that we have as we're now seeing the lighter rain filter into the far western counties of southeast Kansas. Now the heavier stuff, luckily it has stayed out to our west. It's moving at a very good pace though. We see just a little clip of the yellow there in the northwestern section of Greenwood County. Lone lightning strike right around 400, but you got to push all the way out to Wichita as this continues to sink more so down to the south than to the east. So at least we're just picking up the lighter stuff as far as the four states goes. 47 in Pittsburgh, 46 in Miami, 50 still running through Lamar and Carthage. So temperature's not too bad. We'd like to see the jet stream just keep on forcing everything to our south so we don't have to put up with a whole bunch of it. But we are going to pay attention to this little thing that's starting to bubble up right there along the Oklahoma-Kansas state line. You'll notice the severe thunderstorm risk map puts that category in the low area. As a matter of fact, almost where that's beginning to generate right now. Remember, the lighter the green, just simple thunderstorm activity. No wind, no hail, don't have to worry about anything like that. Gradually increasing cloud cover, but let's talk about that one that comes out of here. Because when we get to the afternoon hours, the majority of the rain is going to stay on the western part of southeast Kansas, filter a little bit into the central part of the four states and southwest Missouri by Friday night. But at the same point in time, you can tell how much it lightens up compared to where it is right now in between Wichita and Hutch. Temperatures slowly increasing Saturday morning. Additional thunderstorm activity, a break Saturday night, then we roll it again Sunday morning. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this. One final look at our morning Instapoll. It was the subject of our KOAM News Now Facebook page this morning as the Missouri House of Representatives passes legislation that would make it a misdemeanor crime for the Missouri Lottery to identify the name and hometown of the lottery winner. Of course, the Missouri Lottery says, whoa, not so fast, my friends, because that actually not only harms our sales, but also puts into question the integrity of the state lottery. Now, the Missouri Senate hasn't voted on this yet. Don't want you to think it's actual law, but it did pass the House of Representatives. Our question to you is, should lottery winners be able to keep their identity? And 94% of you say, yeah, it should be able to be a secret. You can make your voice heard each and every morning by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Tanya?
All right, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The CDC now says fully vaccinated Americans can go without a mask in most situations, both indoors and outdoors. There are some exceptions, such as healthcare settings and on public transport. More than a third of Americans are fully vaccinated. While COVID-19 vaccines have never been more available in Missouri, reports show vaccination rates can vary depending on location. The CDC says 41% of people in Joplin have received their COVID-19 shots, while just 20% of residents in Jasper and Newton County have been vaccinated. Jasper and Newton County health officials say vaccine availability and two large hospitals in the Joplin area are the main reasons for the difference in vaccination rates. Well, county health officials say beyond those two factors, zip codes could play a big part in the reported number of vaccinated people. Newton County, Missouri authorities filed formal charges against a man accused of shooting at deputies. The suspect, Benjamin Ivy, from Granby, Missouri, remains in the hospital after authorities say he shot at deputies who returned fire. Ivy is charged in Newton County with unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful use of a weapon, and resisting arrest. He's also charged in McDonald County with first-degree felonious assault, 3 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. The last report, Ivy was listed in stable condition at the hospital. In the case of George Floyd, the trial of the 3 former Minneapolis officers charged with aiding and abetting murder and manslaughter will move from August to next March. The judge says he's doing that so that the 3, along with Derek Chauvin, can face civil rights charges in federal court. Chauvin was convicted last month of murdering Floyd. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Slowly but surely, a little bit of this light rain from the larger system that came in out of northern Kansas, making its way through our counties, has just remained just light showers for the most part. Certainly nothing like the red and the orange that we're seeing out there to the northwest. As this progresses to the south-southeast for the rest of our morning, we'll be keeping tabs on it, along with additional scattered rain showers that'll make their way through for the afternoon. Highs in the 70s. Remember, we're going to reload with thunderstorm activity on Saturday morning for the southern portion of the 4 states, break Saturday night, and then do it again for Sunday morning. All the more reason to flip on over and join Tanya and I over on Fox 14, where we'll continue to watch this system hanging off to the west of southeast Kansas. Wraps it up for this Friday edition. I want you to have a great, wonderful weekend, and please be safe. We'll do this all again on Monday morning.